Welcome to Kaplan Professional Education Australia's 5 Minutes with the Industry program. My name is Vishal Teckchandani, and today I'm here with Australian Unity's Craig Meldrum, who will be talking about advisors' obligations when it comes to giving financial product advice. Craig, thanks for joining me.
My pleasure.
Craig, what are the legislative requirements placed upon AFS licensees and their advisors when it comes to giving financial product advice to clients?
Currently under FSRA or the Corporations Act, for example, licensees have a requirement to, one, know the client and two, to know the product. So really at the end of the day, you've got a licensee that is provided with a range of different styles of investments, and that could be managed funds, direct shares, term deposits, cash, listed property, unlisted property, for example, and they have an obligation on them, and that flows down to the advisor, to the authorised representative of that licensee, to understand what that investment is, and then to be able to report on it and to show at the end of the day that was an appropriate recommendation for that client.
Can you flesh out what Know Your Product entails?
For most advisors, it entails actually understanding what it is that they're asking their client to invest in. So if it's a pure Australian index share fund, for example, what am I investing in? Do I know the fees? Do I know the structure? Do I know the capital gains position, unrealised capital gains and so forth? Do I know how earnings are taxed? Does it actually mirror the index that it's purporting to actually track? What is the tracking error? Who's the manager? All these questions actually come along, the safety of the manager, the track record and so forth. There's a whole raft of things that an individual advisor out there in advisor land generally could not, of their own, know everything about.
Where does the liability for a failed product rest, even if the product has a research house rating?
Total liability for anything that an authorised representative does rests with the AFSL. All right? So the Australian Financial Services Licensee, the holder of that licence to actually provide advice, has 100% of the liability. So really when you talk about an advisor, they're representing that licensee, so no matter what level of research is provided by an external research provider, no matter how glossy it is or how many stars or whatever it is, how often it's researched or how good the research team is and team of analysts and so forth, if a licensee relies on that research and it turns out to be poor quality research, or for whatever reason it might have been good quality but there's been a change and it hasn't been updated recently enough, something happens, it all falls onto the licensee.
And what's the role of a research house?
The traditional role of a research house has been to do that. It's basically been to say, let's make your life easier. Let's come in, we can provide you an approved list, we can tell you what's out there, what's approved, what we've researched and rated as a highly recommended or a recommended or investment grade or a gold, silver, bronze or 3 stars or 5 stars or whatever. And here's our writing on the wall, this is our credentials, we've gone right through this company, we've looked through the financials and we know that company through and through, we know that fund manager through and through, we know who the managers are, who the analysts are, we know the track record of that fund manager, for example. But look, at the end of the day, you've still got research that's provided and you've got a report, and advisors will read that report and understand where the research house is coming from there. That's the traditional role of research houses. And then the advisor then has to take that as part of an overall commitment to using that particular product. So they can say, right, I've got my research there and this is my own overlay on top of that, or from a licensee perspective, this is our overlay on top of that as well.
So how does your business decide what to put on an APL?
The APL is basically a living, breathing thing. It's not like one thing we've bought off the shelf and said, you, Mr. Advisor, go and use that, okay? What we do is basically we take what Morningstar has. We have monthly investment product committee meetings. We also have a feeder group into that called our investment forum, which contains some very smart people that, say, asset allocation consultants, an advisor, panel member, an investment manager, and forms the core group of that investment forum, so to speak. So basically, there's a core approved list which we put rules around to say that anything that's investment grade or above can be utilised by advisors for their portfolios and so forth. But then we have managed models and direct share models, that sort of thing, that flow through that process as well, that have gone through that investment process, investment product committee process. and we're confident that the advisors are providing a best of breed approved list to their clients, and that covers all the elements of the asset class or the asset allocations that they need. So cash, fixed interest, property, shares, and international equities.